Aloha guys, this is Jason from Hawaii. We're here at the amazing Comic-Con Aloha. This is the third day and I'm here with artist Ryan Kincaid. Ryan, welcome to the islands.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So Ryan, I just want to know what's your origin story?
So I grew up a non-athletic dude, like most artists are. I used to go to my brother's baseball games all the time, and instead of playing with the other kids, I would always draw. So I started drawing cartoons as a kid, probably all the way up until I don't know, about my mid-20s. I liked comics forever. I used to study Joe Madureira, J. Scott Campbell, Jim Lee, of course, and kind of mimic how they would draw things and whatnot. I went to my first convention in 2009 and met a couple artists, Dave Johnson, Dan Promotion. Those guys really liked my very humbly crappy work. So it was very nice of them, but told me I should get into comic books. So I kind of took it from there and reinvented myself on how I drew. Instead of doing like Disney stuff, I started doing comic books. And just kind of went from there and just hustled, bang on every door I could to get myself in. I started out with like sketch covers, the little Marvel trading cards, the sketch cards. I did a lot of that until finally I got my break on doing some books.
I'm just gonna say that's pretty amazing that you start going to conventions, showing your stuff, and one of them somebody tells you, encourages you to go into comics.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting because I'm normally a shy individual, and showing your work that you're not too sure about to some of these guys that are legendary.
Yes.
And they're the ones that are like, dude, you should do this. It's kind of a great moment where you're like, okay, it gives you a little confidence boost. Like maybe I can really do that. Maybe I'm good to go.
Yes. And then, can you just let our listeners know, I know you work for Marvel, and you work at DC. What other comic book companies?
I've done variant covers for DC, and I did some Marvel comic cards back in the day. I do a lot of independent work, so I work with Dynamite Entertainment doing Red Sonja and Vampirella a lot. Big Dog Geek, I've done a book with called Antoinette that I got to, my first interior job was through that. It's a cool little historical Marie Antoinette turned into a horror book-ish. I do some work with Aspen Comics that I did my first exclusives with.
Oh, okay.
So basically everything. IDW, I got to do the Ninja Turtles with Kevin Eastman.
Oh, that's nice.
It's been a wild ride. I just keep going like, okay, who else can I work for? Lady Death, Unnatural with Merca, just anything I can get my hands on. I'm still a big fan of, so I'll go for it.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And then we're going to continue on. You have your own Kickstarter, correct? Or your own comics that you made?
I did a Kickstarter for a comic that I created called Persuasion, and it was an idea I had probably about 10 years ago that I just wanted to try. And it took 10 years to finally get the courage and the ability to create something on your own. Before Kickstarter, it's really financially hard for that, especially if this is the only thing you do to produce your own book, because it's a huge overhead cost. Kickstarter allows you to, basically it's self-funding. So I took Persuasion that I did 10 years ago, decided I'm going to try and be the artist, I'm going to try and be the writer, I'm going to be the editor, I'm going to be the publisher. It's worked out. I've got 5 issues written. We're going to launch the second Kickstarter sometime this year. I've got a lot of great artists lined up to do. Derek Chu's going to do a cover for me. The first one, we had John Boy Myers, Elias Chatsudis, Mike DeMalfo, Murat Michaels was on it. So it was really cool to be able to go from doing covers for all these great publishers to creating something that you have a lot of heart and soul into. So it's very fun stuff to do.
And where can our listeners actually? Let me take a step back. Now, what is Persuasion about?
So Persuasion is essentially about a kid named Christopher. It's set in the future where mankind has destroyed the earth. Not really post-apocalyptic, but greed has set in. Religion, everything is destroyed it all, and it's almost like Judge Dredd. Everything is in these big mega cities. difference is there's no normal people.
Okay.
Or there's a small percentage of humans. Everybody is a superpower.
Yeah.
And Persuasion is about this kid, Chris, who was born outside of the system, who has no direct path.
Yeah.
In this world, you're born, they think you're good. You're born, they think you're bad. That's where you're going. Where he was born, he doesn't have a path set for him. He's also, as the story progresses, he's almost like the chosen one.
Okay.
Both sides, good and bad, they need this kid
Yeah.
to take over, to have the combined power. So it's literally like they're trying to persuade him to join their side. But
Yeah.
it's a morally strong storyline because he was raised in an orphanage of the last house of God. There's no churches except for this place called Kincaid. So as a kid, you grow up, no one loved you enough to keep you, but you're also raised by the church. So which way do you go? You got a lot of anger, but you're raised to know better. So you kind of follow him with this way of what's going to happen to Christopher.
Yeah. And then I know you said you're going to. Where can people find Persuasion?
You can follow me on social media. Everything's under Ryan M. Kincaid. Or you can go to ryanmkincaid.com and it will link you to it. And there's always ways to get it. I have an online store that will have all the issues that I've done.
Okay.
Persuasion, Stab Me Ever After, all the cool covers that I've worked with other people.
That's pretty cool. And I checked out the website too. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. You have Stabity Ever After. That's right.
Right, yeah. Stab Me Ever After is an offshoot of the Scout Comics book, Stabity Bunny. We took him a little step further and brought this little cute stuffed bunny to life. So now he's basically like a Michael Myers bunny that doesn't talk, but wields this knife and is wreaking havoc through fairy tale lands, like fights wizards and unicorns. And now the latest issue, he was in Wonderland. He gets to battle the Cheshire Cat.
That sounds pretty cool. Ryan, I'm going to start wrapping up. Your next convention appearance.
I'm all over the place in the country. The next ones you can find me at is C2E2 Emerald City, WonderCon, of course, amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. Just about any major convention in the country, I'll probably make an appearance too.
And one more question about convention. What was your best moment at a convention?
The best moment I've had at a convention, it's kind of hard to choose from besides you get to meet some of the guys that you idols that become your friends. Coming to the island the very first time was like probably the biggest wow factor I ever had. Not only are you on the Hawaiian Islands, but you guys are like the Aloha spirits real. We've never been treated the way we are when we come here, and it's just an amazing experience. We're like, holy cow! Endless supply of endless supply of food.
Yes. All right, Ryan, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you for coming by.
Until next time, guys. Aloha. Aloha, guys. This is Jason from Hawaii. I'm here at the amazing Comic-Con, and this is day number 3, and I'm here with artist Sam De La Rosa. Sam, welcome to the islands.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Beautiful place.
Thank you, Sam. Now, Sam, you've been in the comic book business since 1982. How did you get your break into comics?
Well, I always wanted to break into comics. I started drawing when I was a little kid, like everybody else. Comics was the main thing I always wanted to do. I saw superheroes, I saw their colorful costumes, their powers, and that's what I worked towards. In the 70s, I submitted samples to the company since 1972. I was able to get a couple of pages of work at Charlton Comics in 1975, I believe, but it wasn't until 1982, with the help of artists like Rich Buckler, that I got work at DC Comics, and then later with the help of Bob Layton, I got work at Marvel Comics.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. I'm going a little off the cuff. Charlton Comics, do you remember which what series?
It was a war book. It's on my website in my credits list, so people can always search it there.
I'm going to ask, since you mentioned your website, where can people find you?
SamDelaRosa.com, and then I'm also on Facebook, artist Sam De La Rosa. Don't skip any spaces in that long word, and you'll come up to my page.
All right. I'm going to continue on, Sam. I'm, looking at your table. I mean, you have an incredible line of work. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, over your great career. And there's two things I'm really looking at. One is the Predator, the first mini-series. Do you remember how that came about?
Yeah, I was at a comic convention, and an artist that was working on Predator for Dark Horse comic books liked the stuff that I was doing. And when the project opened up, he got Dark Horse to include me on the project. I was supposed to do 4 issues, but because of deadlines, I was only able to do the first and second ever Predator comic books.
Because I'm going to say, because I remember that miniseries, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here in front of you, but I've always remembered I love the first 2 issues.
Yeah, it had a character that was the brother of the Arnold Schwarzenegger character in the movies. So that was a great tie-in, and it was very successful. It sold out. It went into a second printing. Mm-hmm. It's been published in many formats since then.
Yeah. And then the second series that's everyone's going to remember you for is Venom Lethal Protector.
Yeah, I've been working for Marvel since 1982, and in 1992, Venom had gotten very popular. They wanted to bring him out in his own series. They asked me if I could also be involved, but they said that it won't come out for about half a year, but you can't say anything about it. So from the time I was told to the time the book premiered, it was half a year, and I just couldn't tell people anything about the project. Some people guessed, because I would say, yeah, it's a Spider-Man related project. So a lot of people guessed that it was Venom because everybody wanted him to get his own book.
And then last year you were at the Great American Comic-Con. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience?
Yeah, that's the first time that all the people involved in Venom Lethal Protector had been in one show together. We've never been at one show all together. I may have been with one or another person, but this was the first time there were 4 of us, and people really came out to support us and the show.
So, because I'm hoping to one day go to the Great American Comic-Con. How was that convention?
It's a family-friendly convention, artist-driven convention. They have the most popular artists around, and I highly recommend it.
Let's see. I'm going to keep continuing on. Do you have any more upcoming convention appearances?
I do about 36 conventions a year, so I always have upcoming convention appearances. The next 2 I do know, but past that, I don't remember. But it's on my website. But I can say that right now, next weekend, I'll be in Chicago for about a week for C2E2. Yes. And once I come back, I'll be home for 1 day. Then I leave for another week to Dubai Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm just asking, are you going to make an appearance at the amazing Comic-Con Las Vegas?
I was just asked just a few hours ago by the promoter to be a guest there. So, yep, I'll be there.
So, in other words, I'm doing breaking news right now, right?
Exactly. No, nobody knows. You're the first one.
Thank you very much, Sam. And then 2 more questions. How do you like Hawaii so far?
I don't know of anybody who would not say anything but positive things about Hawaii. The people are very friendly. They're courteous. You got just a great island. I've only been to this island. I'm sure the rest are the same, but it's been fantastic.
Actually, I want to go off the cuff. I'm going to ask you one thing. Are we feeding you here at the convention?
My goodness, yes, there's so much good food here. So, yeah, I've eaten barbecue this and barbecue that, and just a wide variety of foods that I don't know their names. I can't remember their name, but they're very tasty.
Any last words to our fans?
I really appreciate the support here in Hawaii. I'm glad to be here. I hope I can make it back again. There's talk that another convention may bring me back to the islands. So if you know of conventions here in the island, mention my name to them and tell them that you want me back.
Sam, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. I really appreciate your interest in me and my work. Thank you very much.
Oh, and social platform. Again, where can people
Yes,
find
samdelarosa.com, and especially Facebook, under artist Sam De La Rosa.
Thank you again, Sam.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Until next time, guys, aloha. Aloha, guys. This is Jason from Hawaii. We are at day 3 at the amazing Comic-Con Aloha, and I'm here interviewing Beth Sotelo. Beth, welcome to the island.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so glad you found me.
Oh, thank you, Beth. And Beth, before we continue on, I just want to say thank you very much because yesterday we talked a little bit. Thank you for listening to the podcast that I sent you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You sent all these helpful links, and I really appreciate the work you do and finding comic people here to tell their story.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask how has the convention been so far for you guys?
It's been really good. This is it. You don't have to twist our arm to come out to Hawaii, and they always treat us really well here, both the fans and the convention promoters. So we're always happy to come out.
Oh, it's great. And then I'm going to ask. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you guys been to the other amazing Comic-Cons here in Hawaii?
Not here in Hawaii. This is maybe our 4th trip to this particular convention, but we came out, our first trips to Hawaii in general were like in 2002 and 2004. There's a Jelly comic book shop.
Yes.
Yeah. Way back in the day, we came out with the Aspen crew with Michael Turner and Frank and Peter, and we had like the most amazing trip out here. Nothing will top those first 2 trips out here, so we kind of fell in instant love with the island.
All right. I'm going to continue on because I know we're on the floor. It's a little busy. Can you give our listeners like your origin story? How did you get into comics, like reading and so forth, and and then working in comics?
Well, it's a little bit of a windy path. My first love is traditional animation, so that's kind of what my focus was in high school and graduating high school and taking classes, after that. So the problem was that was in the late 90s, and animation was starting to turn into CG animation, and I didn't really have an interest in that particularly. So I tried, as I was trying to find another avenue to commit my artwork to, I kind of stumbled into comics. My husband or boyfriend at the time was showing me these new books called Fathom and Danger Girl. So I had no idea that this stuff existed, and when he showed me the coloring process and all that, I'm like, I can do this. And I was overconfident. I thought I can pick this up in a minute. I'll be coloring this book in no time. So it took like 10 short years later, and I was actually coloring Fathom. So I started in Top Cow in 2002 in their production department organizing CDs. And so I would wait tables at Chili's Monrovia in the day, and then alternating days I'd go into Top Cow, and at night I'd stay over to try to help the guys with fill-in pages. And then it went from fill-in pages to like a short story or a fill-in issue or something like that. So I kind of baby stepped my way into finally coloring my own book.
Oh, that's pretty good. And then when did you start doing all that stuff, like coloring books and the colorings and so forth?
When did I start coloring? Yeah. That was, I think my first book was maybe in 2003, the one that I colored from beginning to end, and it was over Eric Basildua at Top Cow, Magdalena. So that was a long time ago, but that was probably the beginning of it. So I did that. I'm still coloring comics. Right now I'm doing Joe Benitez's Lady Mechanica.
Oh, okay.
So, and he has a great schedule because he does this amazing detailed work, and the books, they're not on exactly a monthly schedule, so it gives me plenty of time to do the stuff that I like to do, which is get back into my artwork. So I saw this opportunity to really devote that extra time into doing my own book, Grump. I'm writing it, I did all the illustration, and I think the only thing I didn't do was the lettering and the actual printing of the book. And I kind of started naively, not knowing the work that I was putting ahead of me. So it was kind of a good thing because it really just taught me, you put one foot in front of the other and just take little bites at a time, and after, you'll be finished eventually. Just keep going. So now I have my very own 60-page graphic novel that I'm pretty happy about.
And then can you explain to the listeners what is Grump about?
Well, Grump is the youngest curmudgeon you'll ever meet. He's this 9-year-old reclusive kid. He has no friends, so the story is about the unusual circumstances it takes for him to finally meet some neighborhood kids. So the whole series will be about the hijinks they get into, but it's basically a story about this little quiet kid Grump trying to find himself.
That's pretty cool, because when I was reading about it last night, it's kind of like a nice little metaphor story of kids just trying to fit in. I could be wrong.
You are absolutely right. Yeah, it's all the kids that he eventually meets. They all are missing something in their life, and the book doesn't dwell on that. It's mostly about the fun that they have. But if you pay attention, you'll kind of see how they learn and grow as little human beings, and they make each other's life a lot better.
And then where can listeners find Grump?
BethSotelo.com. So I'm opening up a couple of stores, a Facebook store and an Amazon store, and I'll have the book and some little acrylic key rings and things coming out there. So yeah, BethSotelo.com is a pretty good place to start.
And then where else can people find you on social media?
Social media on Instagram and Twitter, it's at midimew.com. That's MIDIMEW. It's actually... my husband used to have a stuttering cat, and he used to make the sound "middy mew." So somehow, for some reason, that stuck. So that's my social media handle.
I gotta say, that's pretty cute. That really is. I love it.
Yeah, it stuck. I stuck with it. It works.
I'm going to continue on. What is your next? What are the next few conventions you guys are going to be going to?
The next ones are, we have Emerald City Comic Con and WonderCon in Anaheim. Emerald City, well, that's, Seattle. And in Anaheim, San Diego Comic Con is like right in our backyard. We're from San Diego, so that's like a 16-minute Lyft drive. So it's like this behemoth of a convention that we were lucky to have in our backyard.
That's pretty cool. And speaking about conventions, what was your favorite... Can you tell me what was your favorite convention moment?
One of the most memorable one for me, for whatever reason, is one of the first conventions I went to. I think it was in '96 actually, and Travis Charest was there. And I have a picture of me posing with him, and he has this kind of worried, confused look on his face, but I'm happy to be there. But the notable thing is how empty everything is. It's this artist alley where you can just see all the way down the convention hall, and it's such a different experience than it is now. So it was fun to see the convention grow over those years.
Now, before we start, I know you guys said you guys been to Hawaii about 6 times, correct?
Something like that, enough to kind of lost count. So that's privileged. I'm really happy about it.
How do you guys like the islands on this during this trip to Amazi?
How do I like this particular trip out?
Yeah,
it's always fantastic. Even when it rains, it's beautiful. So it's like I don't really have any complaints. We missed the hurricane year. So we can't even complain about that. We were able to transfer our airline miles over. It's just always a super pleasant experience. Everything's easy to get to. Everywhere you look, there's this like beautiful mountain on one side, a beautiful ocean on the other. It's just, you can't lose.
I'm going a little bit off the cuff. Are we feeding you guys well here at the convention?
Funny you should mention, like every year we come, the first couple of people just fill our bags with all these treats, like malasadas. I've got these coffee flavored cookies, just macadamia nut, caramel corn. My bag is full, and I couldn't be happier.
All right, so can we have a little fun?
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question. There's only a correct answer, but it's a multiple choice. It's either one or the other. What would you prefer, Spam or poi?
I think Spam. I can imagine Spam in more things, and I like the sweet, salty kind of nature of it. So if it was the kind of thing where you have to pick one thing to eat forever, I think I would go with the Spam, just because I'll throw that into more things.
Beth, I'm sorry, that was the wrong answer. The correct answer was poi. So you guys lost out to a free trip to Maui. I'm sorry, all expenses paid. I'm sorry.
I'll get it next time.
But in consolation, you get 100% pure Kona coffee, not the 10%, the 100. No, I'm not. No, I'm not joking. Because I'm going to say because you and another artist were the first two that emailed me back right away.
Oh, good.
Yes, so it's just to say thank you.
I actually love coffee, and we always hit the expensive places and the cheap places to see what we can find here. And this is a fantastic gift, actually. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. Any last words to our listeners?
Well, thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that you check out Grump at BethSotelo.com. It's a labor of love, and I'm going to be happy to start making more issues in the future.
Beth, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Until next time, guys, aloha. 3, 2, 1. Aloha, guys. This is Jason from Hawaii. I'm here. This is the third day of the convention, and I'm here with artist Joel Gomez. Joel, welcome back to the islands.
Oh, thanks so much. I really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, Joel, I'm just going to ask you, what is your origin story?
My origin story. I first got my start at Top Cow Productions as a background assistant. It wasn't really an official title. It was just me kind of helping out guys who were, running late on their pages or whatever. And I used that opportunity to just kind of present my work to them and get pointers and just kind of get better at my craft. And I just kind of kept building on that. And I went from starting at Top Cow to doing assist work at Aspen Comics. And that kind of led me to Wildstorm Productions, which was a division of DC Comics. And so I was there for a little bit, and now I currently work at Coffin Comics.
Can you tell us a little bit more what Coffee Comics, right? What is
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coffin.
Coffin Comics. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. At Coffin Comics is created by Brian Polito. He created Lady Death back in the 90s and Evil Ernie. And so Coffin Comics is his newest kind of venture into the comics market, and he does Lady Death at that kind of, or he publishes Lady Death as well as La Muerta, which is the book I work on. He has a couple other series in the works there as well, but La Muerta specifically is the book I've been working on in the time I've been there. And La Muerta is basically the story of Maria Diaz, who is a former Afghan war veteran who comes home from a tour duty and while visiting with her family is gunned down by a local drug cartel. Maria survives this crazy incident, and the spirit of Santa Muerte visits her and kind of imbues her with the power to avenge the fallen and help the downtrodden. And Santa Muerte is actually a spirit entity from Mexican culture, like a kind of Saint Death is what she is. So.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the artist on it. Are you also writing it as well?
Currently, I recently finished up the last chapter, which was chapter 6. I was just the artist, but for chapter 7 of La Muerta, we should be starting soon this year, I will be helping co-write the book with Mike McLean. And La Muerta was originally created and written by Mike McLean and the co-creator Brian Polito, but Brian has kind of allowed me to help Mike in the later chapters. But a really cool character. I enjoy being able to work on it with them, and it's a really cool concept they came up with.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, we can find these comics at any comic shop, or where else can we find them?
Actually, the best way to find La Muerta would be at LadyDeathStore.com. Brian has a really strong fan base, and he really knows how to just get the books out to them. He does do the retail thing through Diamond and such, but first and foremost, he kind of tries to skip the middleman and get right to the readers. And to do that, sometimes, or usually, what he does is he has Kickstarters to promote the book. And the incentives and the way he goes about putting these Kickstarters together is just such a unique and interesting way to get a comic. It's much more of a boutique experience than it would be than buying the comic at a comic book store. Mm-hmm. It is available at a comic book store, you find your favorite local store, but for the most part, it's such an interesting transaction getting to deal directly with the publisher the way Brian has done it. It's such a unique process, and as a reader or fan, you get so much more out of the interaction, and it's just a fun experience overall.
All right. And then where can fans follow you on social media?
On social media, you can find me on Instagram at Joel Gomez Art. And on Twitter, you can find me at Joel G.
And your next comic convention appearance?
My next appearance will be at Emerald City Comic Con. Beth and I will be promoting our books there, and then we'll also be at WonderCon, and we also have Ontario, which is Comic Con Revolution Ontario. So there's 3 other upcoming shows we'll be attending this year.
And then, what was your favorite convention experience?
My favorite convention experience? I don't know. I guess it just varies. It just depends. Each convention is unique in its own way. It's usually, it sounds corny, but the last convention experience. Only meaning that it gives me a tally of how things are going and where things are going.
Yeah.
New fans I've met, other creators that I've met at the shows, and so getting the opportunity to just meet and greet so many fans and fellow creators is always neat. And just the fact that I get to do it on a regular, it's an overall fun thing.
Pretty nice. It's kind of like a nice, sort of like a class reunion type thing, huh?
It's like a community. We're like a traveling circus, and a lot of times you see a lot of the same performers at different towns, and so it's kind of like a unique community, and we kind of look out for our own, and it's like I said, it's a traveling circus, and it's all of us aspiring to get our stories and characters out to the readers and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Couple more questions because I'm wrapping this up. Again, are we feeding you and Beth well?
Always. I love everything here about the islands. It's so much fun. The hospitality's great, and that's one of the things that we enjoy is the food and the lifestyle that people have in different places. It's just the textures of life that make it fun. And we go back home, we can always think back on those things, and it's just a pleasant thing.
Any last words to our fans?
Thanks so much for supporting, the Comic-Con Aloha that we keep attending out here. It's a great turnout, and people are always so nice. It's one of the main reasons we always try to come back.
And I'm sorry I'm kind of throwing this out at the last minute. When you guys do come back to the next amazing one, can I do a follow-up interview with you guys?
Oh, of course, man. Absolutely. That'd be great. We could compare notes to the last one.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Joel, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jason. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Until next time, guys. Aloha.